So, welcome to Engineering Graphics. This is going to be a video kind of going over the overall structure of the class and going over the syllabus and what I expect from you guys, vice versa. You should have this document. I will likely email it early January once I get a more complete roster list. And if you found this beforehand, then cool. But this is your syllabus. So my name's Chris Tomlinson. I have some of this stuff blanked out because I don't want people to just come into our actual our WebEx class when we're doing this. So I've blanked that out for the purposes of this video, but this will be all filled in for when you receive it in your email. But my name's Chris Tomlinson. I am a professional engineer in New Jersey. I have been teaching this class for about 8 years, I think. It's been a little bit. Essentially, how I got the gig was I went to Rowan, or actually, going back to high school, I took a CAD class senior year, full year, got into it, decided to go into engineering at Rowan. I then took this class again sophomore year, like you guys are taking it, with Dr. Everett. And then I went on to Virginia Tech, where I got my master's in engineering, civil engineering, specifically transportation and pavements type stuff. And it was around that time that they were looking for an adjunct professor, and I was like, hey, I'll do it. So 8 years later, here I am still teaching it. As you'll notice, this is a fully online course, which I chose out of safety for my household. We have several people in the household that are kind of predisposed to more issues with COVID, so we're playing it safe in that route. And this is kind of a class that lends itself more to just fully online, so I'm sure it'll be kind of easier on you guys to not have to stay till 9:30 at night after a full slate of classes and all that stuff. So it kind of works out for this year. But we will be having the YouTube channel is going to have a ton of content, from demos to what to expect on assignments to presentations to stuff like that, that you'll be able to do at your own pace, however you want it. You'll see at the end of this document there are very few due dates. So I expect to receive all of the assignments by this date. Test 1 will be due by this date, so on and so forth. So you could kind of work a lot more at your own pace. The WebEx, which will be our in-class stuff, will be more of a kind of in-office hours type thing, where if you have issues, you could come to me. There won't be a whole ton of actual like pre-planned activities because I'm putting all of that in the YouTube. So I'm trying to make this as easy as it is for you guys to continue to go back and be like, oh, what did he say there? What was he doing? We'll still have some stuff during the WebEx, but for the most part, it's going to be a free period where I just help you with assignments and demos and all that stuff. There's no required text. You're welcome. Class hours, we have Monday, Tuesday, Thursday sections. I think the self-service says like 6:30 to some time and then a break, and then goes to like 9:15 or 9:30. I don't think we're going to need necessarily breaks. We're using it as more office hours. So unless I'm presenting or you guys are presenting something at that point, take breaks when you need it. If you need to go to the bathroom, if you need to get something to eat, if you need to take a call, whatever, do it. Just if somebody's doing something, be respectful about it. That's all I expect. And you guys are adults, so let's get our assignments done. It's a 2-credit class, so I try and adjust all my stuff to more reflect a 2-credit class instead of a 3 or a 4, and we'll make it happen. Objectives: by the end of this course, you should be able to interpret engineering drawings and use AutoCAD to make 2D and 3D drawings. The grading: will be on a standard scale. So here are the tiers. However, one caveat that I've used in every year is I could adjust these scales slightly down. But this will only be in your benefit. So, for example, an A minus, according to this scale, is 90 to 93. But at the end of the semester, based on how everybody did, I may actually make that tier an 89.7 as an A minus. But this will be done at the end of the semester. I'm not sure if I'm going to need it this year because there's going to be a lot more online resource and kind of walkthrough stuff. And then where most people used to like lose a lot of points was this test right here. And this test right here, I don't know why it was so difficult. It was open notes, open presentation. It was like 35 questions, but for whatever reason, the average always ended up being like a 70. And that caused me to have to curve some stuff up towards the end of the semester. So I always took that more of a reflection on me versus the students. And that's how I tend to approach it. But since I had to revamp some of these tests because we are doing it online, I think it's going to be easier for you guys to get better on those tests. So I may not actually have to curve it. Combination, if you have any type of special needs, stuff like that, the Academic Success Center generally gives you some type of paper. Just send it along to me, and whatever we got to do, we'll do. Academic misconduct. I encourage students to work together on assignments. That doesn't mean you just copy somebody's thing, but I'm an engineer. If I have questions, I go to a colleague. It's like, hey, do you know how to do this? They show you. We work together. I know some stuff that other people don't. They come to me. That's how it works. So I kind of use school as that, which is why most of the time I'm like, use the Google machine. You don't know something? Google it. Find a YouTube video. Go on Twitch for all I care. Maybe there's somebody out there streaming. So copying is not acceptable. I expect you all to be turning in your own types of assignments and you doing your own work, but I expect the final project and test 2, it'll kind of show if you know how to do the work. So if you're just copying somebody and not learning, by the end of the semester, your grade will be reflected on that because of the 40% of this grade that goes to that. So don't cheat. I do offer a section for testing out of the class, which is something that I wish I was capable of doing when I went here. So I generated these 4 steps if you wanted to try and test out of class and just receive an A. Provide me with some type of portfolio of your previous CAD work. Some people have like a house, which we do as our final project, that they could show me. Something that shows that you took CAD and that you kind of know what you're doing. Test 2, there are 6 3D drawings that will be used as the final. Complete 5 of those 6. And you'll see later on in the syllabus, test 2 I actually offer as a partner exam, but if you're trying to test out, has to be done as an individual. There is a group presentation, so I just expect you to be an effective group member. As long as you're not dragging down the group and poorly prepared, stuff like that, where you hinder their grade, you'll be good. And then just as kind of like an anti-cheat method, we'll come up with a date. You'll share your webcam, or your, not necessarily your webcam, but your screen. And I'm going to give you a drawing, and if you could complete it in 2 hours, you got an A for the class. So essentially, if you're getting this before the semester, you could complete these 3 if you wanted to. And then you would just have to do 1 presentation with your group, and then you'll be good. If you want to try and test out a class, let me know by January 31st, 2021 via email. So here's the assignment sections. I will have another YouTube video specifically going over assignments. The main thing to know about it is all of your AutoCAD drawings must contain your name, assignment number, date, proper scale, and sheet number. What I mean by this, you're going to have some type of drawing, whatever it is. Here's your drawing. You are going to submit to me essentially this, but you'll see down here, that was a bad select. Down here, there are all those different things: name, date, assignment, scale, and sheet. These need to be filled in and properly filled in. If this was your assignment right here, and you gave me sheet 1 of 2, that is incorrect. There is only one sheet. So this should say 1 of 1. If you did that wrong, you'll get points taken off. But here's a list of all the assignments. Like I said, another YouTube video will come just explaining all of these in more detail. So we'll go through those. There are 10 assignments. So that'll go for 20% of your grade. Next section was saying final project, which is also 20% of your grade. So your final project is going to be a 3D model of the house. And as you're completing these assignments, you're kind of going to get portions of this done. So for your 3D house, you're going to end up using this floor plan because that's going to give you your walls that you could end up regioning and extruding up to get the walls. You're going to create and put your house on one of these site plans. So in assignment 3, you're going to create the site plan that you're going to put your house on. So there are certain assignments here that are going to help you build towards your final project. The way I generally do this is, I don't know, there's like 120 students this year, something along those lines. So I'm not going to be able to say, so-and-so student, you deserve a 97, but other so-and-so student, you deserve a 96. The amount of effort that will go into this final project, it's hard to discern specifically something to that level. What I found has been successful for me is I could break you down into certain tiers. So if you complete the bare minimum of everything that I list out here, you'll get a 75. If you do slightly more than the minimum, then you'll get an 85. If you got a pretty bomb-ass house, you'll get a 95. And then, like, if this is something super mega, which is in 8 years, I think I've given out like maybe 4 or 5 100s. Like, one guy decided to engrave the turn knobs for their shower. So it's like, okay, I get it. You had fun with this, and it's really great. So you can receive 100, but typically most people will fall into one of these, which is bare minimum. Did it. I did slightly more than the bare minimum, and then this is a pretty good house. And these won't be equally distributed. So I may only have 5 people that do the bare minimum, and there's a whole slew that do these 2. That's great. Whatever your grade ends up being, I'm going to give you. Like, I'm not here, like, I hope I get 120 A's in this class, or however many students I have. Is that likely to happen? No. But I hope it happens, and then Dr. Jahan will probably be sending me an email saying, like, is this right? And I'll be like, look at my previous 7 to 8 years of teaching. I don't give out 120 A's, but this year the class was pretty awesome. Some things that may bump you up into a higher tier are limited, or include but are not limited to 3D furniture. And I'm not talking about blocks that you import in, fences, additional floors, pools, and garages. The bare minimum is that you need 3D walls, floors inside your house, textures on the house and land, cutouts for doors and windows, and a walkway driveway, and that the house is 2 stories. So a first and a second story. After that, these are all things that could bump you up. You'll end up submitting 2 files to me. Essentially, what I want is you're going to have the first floor and the second floor, them spread out, so I could see inside them if you put in any 3D furniture, stuff like that. And then one, I want them combined, it looking like a house on your plot of land. So if you put a pool and a fence, I see it like that. So it's just easier for me to be like, okay, inside looks good. Here's what it looks all assembled. Good. There will be 6 presentations given by you guys, and you guys can come up with your own teams. I don't know how big the groups will be because it depends on each class size, but essentially if we have 36 students in a class and there are 6 presentations, it's going to be 6 per group. So it's going to be dependent on class size divided by the number of presentations. Sometimes there will be 5, sometimes there will be 7. But you can do something similar to this YouTube video where you're creating a voiced over presentation, and you'll see some of my presentations, how I do it. And I recommend that you use some type of screen capturing software. Since I'm used to doing Twitch, I have OBS. But there are other softwares out there. Like I think last year I was using FreeCams 8, which is pretty easy to use and solid. The reason I like using OBS for this year is because it's easy for me to put my face down here. You could see nice beard and stuff like that, and you could get to know me. But if you just want the screen capturing software, that's fine. And then you're going to need some way to capture the audio of everyone. So my guess is you're probably just going to use Discord, because that's what I do when I play certain games, is I will use OBS with Discord, and it'll capture all the audio. And you're going to generate a 20 to 25 minute voiced over presentation on the following topics. And for each class, there will only be 1 group assigned to each one of these topics. And in the first email that I sent you, that's going to have a whole bunch of resources. There will be sample presentations of all of these. So you can kind of get an idea of what I'm looking for. So that's what this is saying. But do realize that these are sample presentations. I don't want you to just get on OBS and just present what I gave you. I want you to repurpose it. I want you to make it your own. You may think certain aspects of that presentation are boring and you want to take it in a different direction. That is fine with me. I am cool with that. But I know when I was a freshman and sophomore in college, it's like, well, just let me know what you want and I will make you happy. So I like to provide some type of resource. This is how the grading breakdown will be. The content, I'm kind of giving you the content, so you shouldn't screw this up. Formatting and professionalism. When we were in person, I would say this to me does not mean that you're dressed in a fancy suit or professional attire. What it means to me is that you got a nice looking presentation. You are using templates from PowerPoint or Google Slides or whatever you're using, and that it looks nice. You're not changing different text heights or text sizes. Bullet points aren't moving all over the place. You actually seem like you prepared to give this presentation. You know the content that's in it. You're not going to be going, oh wait, you're supposed to talk now, other partner. I expect it to be rehearsed. I expect it to look nice. So that's what I mean in terms of formatting and professionalism. And there's further clarification on these bullet points of those. Timing, get it between 20 and 25 minutes. Your video this should be real easy for you, because in the past, they had a timer, I'd have a timer, and we'd time it, and they'd have to stretch or go quicker as needed to hit their timing, their 20 to 25 minutes. But now, if you screw up your presentation, record it again. Just make sure it's between that 20 and 25 minutes. And then finally, the last 10% is uploading to YouTube before the due date. So I want you to send me the YouTube link that you uploaded your presentation to. And then I'm going to disperse that to the class because there's an assignment on providing summaries or key points of everybody's presentation. So the due date I have as February 27th. So as long as you get me a YouTube link before 11:59 p.m. on February 27th, I'm good. Now please realize that uploading to YouTube will take a little bit of time to actually upload the content. So don't expect that you're going to finish with your group at 11:50 p.m. on February 27th and just upload it real quick. It takes some time. So make sure you get that link to me and you'll get 100% for that section. If not, you'll receive a 50% for that section. Test 1 is going to be a submission of all the Test 1 demos. There are 33 of them. So if I bring this up, COVID edition, Test 1 demos. There are 33 demos. Here's an example of one. This is the first demo. We are going to recreate this. There are 33 of these. They get progressively harder. As you could see, this one's harder than that first one. You will get there. We are going to slowly build on these skills such that you could do this. How we are going to do this is I'm going to randomly select like half of these. So I'm going to give you a voiced over presentation on specifically how I would draw these demos, whatever 16 or 17 of them I choose. The other 16 or 17 of them, you're going to do by yourself because I'm a big fan of students learn by doing. So if you're just listening to me and just following each step, you're not actually processing and internalizing how to actually draw that. So that's why I'm going to have you guys do half of them without my help. Now, so you could use the Google machine to learn skills you don't know, or ask a classmate what command they used and how they interpreted the drawings. But realize when you submit this to me, I'm going to want all 33 of these files in one drawing file, a DWG, which is the standard AutoCAD file. And I can look in the properties of that file to see how long it took to create all this and specifically who was in this file. So I will be able to see if you specifically drew this. So it's kind of like an anti-cheat way for me to check your work that you are actually doing it. But like I said, I believe in using all the resources that are available to you. So you have colleagues, you have Google, you have YouTube, you have all these things where you could learn this stuff. So these other 16 to 17 drawings, I expect you to kind of teach yourself a little bit or just draw on the skills that I am giving you in those previous 16 or 17 that I am going to do on YouTube. I hope that makes sense. We'll be going over the syllabus again on the first day of class, so it should kind of solidify it then. Test 2. The second test will be a submission of the Test 2 demos. There are 6 of them. So if I open this again, COVID edition, Test 2 demos, these are harder demos. I used to offer these as extra credit, but since we are going to be doing stuff online this year, and how I changed last class was I made it a partner test, and you had to do these 6 drawings, and if you didn't do one of the drawings, then you lost 10 points. So if you turned in 3 of them, you would get a 70, because 100 minus the other 3 you didn't do is a 70. And that seemed to work well last year, so I'm going to be doing that again this year. So like I said, for this, it's a partner test. You could choose your partner. If you do not want a partner and you like to work alone, that's your prerogative. If you are working with a partner, I just ask that you please email me saying who your partner is and CC them on both you saying, hey, this is my partner. So I could be like, okay, they're CC'd to this, they're seeing this. Clearly they came to that decision. And then 2, when you guys submit your combined final or your test 2, that they see that you submitted it and that I know that they were a part of this process. So you should be sending me 2 different emails. One saying, hey, so-and-so is my partner, CC them, and then, hey, here's our completed final, and CC them on that as well. Similar to the other one, I will not be providing guidance on the interpretation of these. It's a take-home test with a partner, so I feel like I'm giving you a lot of leeway as is. So, and these have been used off and on for a while, so I know they're fairly well vetted assignments. Here are the due dates that I was talking about. I was talking to a friend of mine who teaches high school, and I'm like, hey, what's the best advice you could give for teaching online? And he said, kind of open-ended dates, like long-term dates. So you'll see these are the specific things that you will be graded on. You have your group presentation, your tests, your assignments, and your final project. I've organized these by the date they are due, just so you could be like, okay, I need to prioritize this one, check, then I can move on to this one. So your group presentation is due February 27, 21 by 11:59 p.m. What you need to send me is a YouTube link emailed to me, and that YouTube link is working. Test 1, which is the 33 demos, will be due March 13th by 11:59 p.m. And what I expect from that is one AutoCAD drawing file with all 33 drawings in it. I don't want to have to open up 33 different files from 100 plus students. That's a lot. Just draw them all in one thing so I could zoom in and out of each one and check it. Assignments. You have 10 assignments. This will be due April 15th by 9 p.m. So the end of class, I believe that's a Thursday, by 9 p.m. And this one, feel free to submit each assignment as you go. So as soon as you finish one, submit it. I'll grade it and give it back. What I'm probably going to end up doing is like Saturday morning or something along those lines. Whoever emailed me assignments from the last time I graded to the next time I grade, I'm just going to do those in a batch. So if you don't get a graded response from me within a week, that's why. Because I'm kind of grouping them into a batch so I could do them all at once. Because it makes it a lot easier on me. Test 2, which is the other 6 demos, that is due April 29th by 11:59 p.m. So I believe that's a Saturday? No, that'll be a Thursday night, I believe. Similar to test 1, one drawing file with all drawings in them. Now I understand if you're working with a partner, you were saying who has edited this file. Yes, you're just going to copy this in. I'm going to know that you took it from your partner, stuff like that. I just want one drawing file that you all did them. And then your final project, which is your house, is due May 6th by 9 p.m. You should give me 2 drawing files, one where they're separated out for each floor, then one where it's combined on your site plan. So yeah, I'm not going to have essentially something due each day. I was told this is the way to go about it. You guys are going to be stressed enough with vaccines, family members, stuff like that, with the COVID stuff. So I'm trying to make it as open-ended as possible and allow you to actually do it at your own pace. Some people are going to have background and not choose to test out of the class. So they're going to get done all this stuff real quick. Some of you have no background, and that's how I have to teach this class, that you have never opened up AutoCAD, that you have never touched a CAD program before. So we start from the bottom and we go up. This is an additional resources section. This is where you'll get some resources for your assignments. So I think this is assignment 2, both of these files. again, I'll cover that in another YouTube video. This is a 3D version of that same drawing, which is another assignment. You'll recreate this drawing, which is the site plan. And this is the sample floor plan, so just to give you an idea what I expect when you do your own floor plan assignment. But that is the syllabus. That is kind of the background of what we're going to be doing for this class. I hope you're excited. I think it's going to be pretty dope. But if you have any questions, feel free to email me or just ask them during office hours, which will be the class times. Yeah.